The day I chose compassion over wealth, my father's face turned a shade of purple I'd never seen before. His fingers trembled as he gripped his Mont Blanc pen, the same one he'd used to sign million-dollar contracts, and drew a thick black line through my name in his leather-bound journal. I'm Bailey. And that was the moment I became a disgrace to the Sims dynasty. You'll die poor, he spat, slamming the journal shut. Is that what you want? To throw away generations of success for some bleeding heart fantasy? My mother stood by the window of his corner office, 50 stories above Manhattan, clutching her pearls like they might protect her from my betrayal. The setting sun caught the diamonds on her fingers, throwing tiny rainbows across the mahogany walls. Bailey, darling, she whispered, her voice breaking, please reconsider. The executive training program, it's what we've prepared you for since birth. No, I said, my voice steadier than I felt. I've seen what happens to women in this company. I'm taking the job at the shelter. A shelter? My father laughed, but there was no humour in it. My daughter, working at a homeless shelter, like some common social worker? Women's shelter, I corrected. And yes, he stood towering over his desk. Then you're no daughter of mine. The words hit like physical blows, but I refused to flinch. Behind him, through floor-to-ceiling windows, I could see our family's empire. Sims Industries, spelled out in giant letters across 3 buildings. An empire built on broken women. Get out, he said. Don't come back until you've come to your senses. I turned and walked out, my heels clicking against marble floors. The elevator ride down was the longest 50 seconds of my life. By the time I reached the lobby, my bank accounts were already frozen. That was 6 months ago. Bailey? Maria's voice snapped me back to reality. Due arrival. I looked up from my desk. A scratched wooden thing that wobbled unless you stuck a folded paper under one leg. The shelter's fluorescent lights flickered, a far cry from my father's custom lighting system. A girl stood in the doorway. Couldn't have been more than 16. Black eye, split lip, designer clothes that had seen better days. She reminded me of someone. Hi, I said softly, standing. I'm Bailey. You're safe here. I'm Sophie, she whispered. My dad. He found out I was seeing someone he didn't approve of. My chest tightened. Come, sit down. Let's get you some tea. As I led her to our small kitchen, Maria caught my eye. She knew my story. Everyone here did. It's why they trusted me. I wasn't some rich girl playing saviour. I was one of them. My parents kicked me out too, I told Sophie as she wrapped her hands around the steaming mug. Different circumstances, but same story. People who love you shouldn't hurt you. Will they look for me? Probably, but we have security and lawyers on speed dial. I smiled. Trust me. I learned from the best how to fight back. Sophie nodded, then burst into tears. I held her while she cried, ignoring the ache in my own chest. This was why I chose this path. This was worth more than all the zeros in my old bank account. Later that night, doing my final rounds, I found Sophie's bed empty. My heart stopped. Her few belongings were gone. No note left behind. Security footage shows a black SUV, Maria reported, her face grim. Tinted windows. She went willingly. I slammed my hand against the wall. Damn it! They found her. We'll file a report, but she's probably back home, learning to be quiet, learning to obey. Like I was supposed to. Like all the women in my father's company were supposed to. I stood in Sophie's empty room, my reflection fractured in the cracked mirror on the wall. In that moment, I made a promise, not just to Sophie, but to every woman who'd ever been silenced by money and power. They think they can buy silence, I whispered to my reflection. They think they can bury us in NDAs and threats and family shame. But I won't let them. Not anymore. Maria touched my shoulder. Bailey, you can't save everyone. Watch me. That night, I stayed late, researching legal precedents, making calls to old contacts who still spoke to me. My father was right. I might die poor, but I'd die fighting, and I had no idea then. But that night was just the beginning. The night I stopped being just another rich girl who'd fallen from grace and started becoming their worst nightmare. A woman with nothing left to lose and everything to prove. 6 years can change everything. I stared at my reflection in the green room mirror, adjusting my blazer before going on stage. CNN had done my makeup, but I'd insisted on wearing my own clothes. No designer labels, just a simple black suit from a department store. 5 minutes, Ms. Bailey, the producer called. Jasmine burst through the door, phone in hand, her braids swinging. The donation offer from Sterling Corp just doubled. 2 million unrestricted funds. No, I said, checking my microphone. We've talked about this. Bailey, come on. Do you know what we could do with that money? We could open 3 new shelters. I turned to face my best friend and operations director. And what happens when Sterling Corp gets caught in their own scandal? When their CEO's history of harassment comes out? We'd have to give that money back, and worse, our credibility would be shot. Jasmine sighed. Sometimes I hate that you're always right. Not always. I smiled. Just about rich people being terrible. The producer returned. We're ready for you. The studio lights were blinding, but I'd gotten used to them. This was my 6th national TV appearance this month. The host, Angela Martinez, had interviewed me before. Today, we're joined by Bailey Sims, founder of Women's Voice Forward, discussing the growing allegations of systematic discrimination and harassment in corporate America. Bailey, these new reports about Sims Industries. Any relation? I met her gaze steadily. Yes, Martin and Beatrice Sims are my parents. But I haven't spoken to them in 6 years, and I'm not here to discuss family drama. I'm here to talk about the women brave enough to come forward. Fair enough. What's your response to the recent allegations? 27 women have filed complaints in the past month alone. That's not a coincidence. That's a pattern. And it's not just Sims Industries. This is happening everywhere. But women are finally finding their voice. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I ignored it. Back in my office later, Jasmine perched on my desk, scrolling through Twitter. You're trending again. Bailey spits trouth. Wonderful, I muttered, checking my messages. The missed call was from a number I didn't recognise, but the voicemail made my blood run cold. Ms. Sims, this is Vicente Whitfield from The Atlantic. I'm working on a story about Sims Industries that I think you'll want to be part of. Call me back. Jasmine saw my face. What is it? I played the message for her. Holy shit, she whispered. Vicente Whitfield? He's the one who broke the Harvey Weinstein story. I know. I stared at my phone. Question is, what does he have? Call him back. I shook my head. Not yet. I need to think. My computer dinged with a news alert. Another woman had come forward, this time with screenshots of inappropriate messages from a Sims Industries executive. The company's stock had dropped 12 points. They're going down, Jasmine said softly, with or without your help. Good. But my voice shook slightly. Bailey! Jasmine grabbed my hand. This is what we've worked for. All those nights at the shelter, all the fundraising, all the speaking tours, it's paying off. You're not that scared girl anymore. I know. I squared my shoulders. But this isn't just about revenge. If I do this wrong, if I make it personal, we could lose everything we've built. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Warren. Have you seen the news? He asked when I answered. Which part? Your mother's being named in the new allegations. She apparently signed off on severance packages that included NDAs covering up harassment claims. My stomach lurched. Of course she did. Proper, perfect Beatrice, always protecting the family name. Bailey? Warren's voice softened. Are you okay? I'm fine. I wasn't. I have to go. There's a journalist I need to call back. I hung up and stared at Vicente's number. 6 years ago, I'd walked away from wealth and privilege to help women find their voice. Now, the universe was offering me a chance to expose the very people who'd called me naive, who'd thrown me away for choosing compassion over profit. Make the call, Jasmine said quietly. Whatever he has, whatever happens next, you're not alone anymore. I picked up my phone and dialed. Vicente answered on the first ring. Mr. Sims, thank you for calling back. I'm about to publish something that will change everything. Would you be willing to go on record about what you witnessed during your time at Sims Industries? I took a deep breath. Call me Bailey. And yes, I think it's time everyone knew the truth. The words felt like keys unlocking a door I'd kept closed for 6 years. Behind it waited all my rage, all my pain, and maybe, finally, justice. Audrey sat across from me at the corner table of a quiet coffee shop, her hands wrapped around an untouched latte. She'd been a senior VP at Sims Industries for 15 years, before walking away 6 months ago. Now she was about to tell me why. I shouldn't be here, she said, glancing over her shoulder. The NDA I signed is void if it covers up illegal activities, I finished. We have lawyers ready to defend you. She pulled out her phone, hands shaking slightly. I kept everything. Emails, messages, meeting recordings. I knew someday I'd need proof. Why now? I asked. Why come forward after all these years? Audrey's eyes met mine. Because I saw you on CNN, the CEO's daughter, fighting for women like me. I realized if you could walk away from everything, I could break my silence. She slid her phone across the table. Start with the folder marked July 2019. I opened it. Dozens of emails, all with the same subject line. Personnel, matter, confidential. My mother's name appeared in every thread. Your mother handled all the special cases, Audrey explained. Any woman who threatened to report harassment got called to her office. She'd offer them money, severance packages, but only if they signed. The NDAs, I whispered. Not just NDAs, full gag orders. We couldn't tell our families, our therapists, anyone. One woman broke hers, mentioned it to her husband. The company sued her into bankruptcy. My coffee turned bitter in my mouth. I'd known my mother was complicit, but seeing the evidence... There's more, Audrey said. She reached for her phone, pulled up a video. This was 3 months ago, my last executive meeting. The footage was shaky, clearly recorded secretly. My father stood at the head of a conference table, face red with anger. These women knew what they were signing up for, his voice crackled through the speaker. If they can't handle how we do business, they can leave. But they don't get to destroy what we've built. Beside him, my mother nodded approvingly. I closed the video, feeling sick. How many women? That I know of, at least 43. But there were others before my time. The bell above the coffee shop door chimed. Audrey flinched. It's okay, I assured her. That's just Jasmine. My friend slid into the booth beside me, laptop ready. Ms. Audrey, I'm here to take your official statement. Everything you say will be protected under whistleblower laws. Audrey straightened her shoulders. Where do I start? The beginning, I said softly. Tell us everything. For the next 2 hours, Audrey spoke. She described a culture of fear and silence, of powerful men who saw women as disposable, of my mother's quiet efficiency in making problems disappear. Your father once told me I reminded him of you, Audrey said, right before he offered me a promotion. When I turned him down, he made sure I never advanced again. My phone buzzed. Warren calling. I ignored it. We'll need copies of everything, Jasmine said, typing rapidly. Emails, videos, meeting notes. Our legal team will review it all before Vicente publishes. What about the other women? Audrey asked, the ones still trapped there. We have a plan, I said. Class action lawsuit, media campaign, congressional hearings if necessary. But first, we need to break their silence. I can help with that. Audrey pulled out a small notebook. I kept their names, all of them. Some still work there, some left. But they all deserve justice. Jasmine's laptop pinged with a new email. Vicente's ready. He wants to run the story next week. Will you testify? I asked Audrey. Publicly? She hesitated. They'll destroy me. No, I said firmly, they'll try, but you're not alone anymore. None of you are. What about you? She met my eyes. They're your parents. They stopped being my parents the day they chose profit over humanity. I took her hand across the table. Now, I choose justice over family. Jasmine's phone buzzed this time. She checked it and gasped. Bailey. Someone leaked the story to Twitter. It's starting to spread. My heart raced. How much? Just hints. But your name is mentioned and... She paused. Your mother is trending. Audrey stood suddenly. I should go. Before... Wait. I grabbed her arm. Stay with us. We have safe houses, security. Once this breaks, they'll come after you first. She sank back down, nodding slowly. I'm tired of running. Then, let's finish this, I said, pulling out my own laptop. Together. As we worked, I could feel the weight of what was coming. By this time, next week, my parents' empire would begin to crumble, and I would be the one holding the sledgehammer. But looking at Audrey's face, seeing the hope there, the relief of finally speaking truth, I knew there was no turning back. Some things were worth burning bridges for, and some bridges needed to burn. The morning Vicente's article dropped, I watched my phone explode. 3,000 notifications in the first hour. Every major news network wanted a comment. The Sims Industries Exposed was trending #1 worldwide. Holy shit, Jasmine breathed, staring at her tablet. The stock just dropped 30%. Trading's been halted. I refreshed my browser. The Atlantic's website had crashed from traffic, but screenshots of the article were everywhere. My father's face glared from every news site, alongside headlines like Corporate Giant's Culture of Abuse and CEO's Daughter Reveals All. Warren burst into my office without knocking. You need to see this. He turned on the TV just as my mother appeared on screen, stepping out of their Manhattan penthouse. Reporters swarmed her. Mrs. Sims, what's your response to the allegations? Did you know about the harassment? Why did you force women to sign NDAs? She clutched her pearls, her signature move, and pushed through the crowd. No comment. These accusations are baseless. My daughter is confused. Confused? I laughed bitterly. That's rich. My phone rang. Vicente. It's chaos, he said without preamble. 9 more women have come forward since the article dropped. The FBI is opening an investigation into the NDAs. You need security. Already handled, I assured him, nodding to the 2 guards Jasmine had hired. Bailey, Jasmine called from her desk. Protesters outside Sims Industries. Looks like hundreds. I switched to live coverage. The crowd stretched for blocks, mostly women, many holding signs with quotes from the article. Some read Believe Women and Justice for Audrey. Their PR team just quit, Warren reported, scrolling through his phone. Publicly, on Twitter. My office door flew open again. Maria from the shelter rushed in. You need to see this. Now! She held up her phone. A video was playing. Security footage from inside Sims Industries. My father was throwing things, screaming at someone off camera. Find that bitch, his voice roared. I want every document she touched shredded, every email deleted. That's obstruction, Warren said quietly. If the FBI sees this, they will, I promised. Anonymous just started trending. Looks like they hacked the building's security feeds. Jasmine's desk phone rang. Her eyes widened as she listened. Bailey, the board of directors is calling an emergency meeting. They're voting to suspend your parents. I sat down hard in my chair. This was really happening. 6 years of work, of building my reputation, of helping other women find their voice. It was all paying off in a single morning. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. You've ruined us. Happy now? Mom. I blocked the number. CNN's live, Warren called. We all turned to watch. The anchor was interviewing Audrey, who looked scared but determined. And Bailey was the one who gave us the courage, she was saying. When the CEO's own daughter stands up and says, "This is wrong," it makes you realise you're not crazy. You're not alone. Speaking of alone, Jasmine interrupted, your parents' country club just revoked their membership. It's all over Instagram. Warren touched my shoulder. You okay? I'm fine. I stood up, straightening my jacket. But we're not done. Get me Vicente on the phone. It's time for phase 2. Phase 2? Maria asked. The class action lawsuit. We have 43 women ready to testify, and more coming forward every hour. My parents think this is about revenge. No, this is about justice. My computer pinged. A new email from an executive assistant at Sims Industries. Urgent meeting request. Top PR consultant needed. Will pay any price. Jasmine read over my shoulder and gasped. They don't know it's you, do they? They don't realise you're the consultant everyone's been talking about. No, I smiled, they don't. Bailey, Warren's lawyer instincts kicked in. Think carefully about this. I have. I turned to face my team, my real family. They want to meet their nightmare? Fine, schedule it for tomorrow. What are you going to do? Maria asked Okechi. I looked at the TV, where protesters were now burning Sims Industries banners. At my phone, still buzzing with messages from reporters. At the email from my parents' desperate assistant. I'm going to offer them a choice, I said. The same choice they gave all those women. Submit quietly or be destroyed publicly. Jasmine grinned. Karma's a bitch. No, I corrected her, typing my response to the meeting request. Karma's their daughter. The email sent with a satisfying whoosh. Tomorrow at 2 p.m, my parents would walk into my office, not knowing they were walking into their own judgment day. And I would be ready. I sat behind my desk at 1:55 p.m, watching the security feed. My parents were in the lobby, looking distinctly uncomfortable among the women's rights posters and survivor testimonials that lined our walls. You don't have to do this, Warren said from the corner. He'd insisted on being present as my lawyer. Yes, I do. I adjusted my nameplate, making sure it was perfectly visible. Jasmine? She checked her tablet. Security's in place. Vicente's photographer is across the street. Twitter's watching the building. The elevator dinged. My heart hammered, but my hands were steady. Send them in. My mother entered first. Perfect, as always in Chanel, pearls gleaming. My father followed, his usual commanding presence diminished by 2 days of scandal. Neither recognised me immediately. I'd changed my hair, lost weight, grown into someone they'd never bothered to know. Please, sit, I said, gesturing to the chairs. They sat. My mother's eyes darted around the office, taking in the awards, the press clippings, the framed Time magazine cover with my face on it. Then she saw the nameplate. Bailey. Her voice cracked. My father's face turned that familiar shade of purple. What is this? This, I said calmly, is your appointment with the top PR consultant in crisis management. You requested it. You... He started to stand. Sit down, Dad, or I'll have security remove you. This is my office, my rules. He sat, hands gripping the armrests. You planned this, my mother whispered. All of it. The article, the protests. No, I corrected her. I just stopped helping you hide it. Everything else? That's just karma. We're your parents. Really? I leaned forward. Because I remember you saying I wasn't your daughter anymore. Right before you froze my accounts, cancelled my health insurance, and told everyone I had a mental breakdown. My father found his voice. You betrayed us. I exposed you. There's a difference. I pulled out a folder. Now, about your PR crisis. I have a proposal. We're not taking anything from you, he spat. Yes, you are, because right now, I'm the only thing standing between you and total destruction. Jasmine handed me a tablet. The stock's down another 20%. 3 major retailers just pulled their contracts. And that's just the beginning, I continued. Tomorrow, 43 women will file a class action lawsuit. The FBI is investigating the NDAs. Anonymous has more security footage. Face it, you're finished. My mother's hand trembled as she reached for her pearls. What do you want? Everything. I opened the folder. Full ownership transfer of Sims Industries to an independent board focused on female empowerment. You both resign immediately. The company pays restitution to every woman who signed an NDA. You can't do this, my father growled. I already am. I slid the papers across the desk. Sign, or I release the recordings. What recordings? My mother's voice sharpened. I pressed play on my laptop. Her own voice filled the room. Just sign here, dear. The money's yours, but you never speak of this again. To anyone, ever. She went pale. I have dozens more, I said. Every meeting where you silenced women, every threat, every cover-up. You'll destroy the company, my father said. No, I'll save it. Just not for you. Warren stepped forward, legal papers ready. You have 10 minutes to decide. After that, we release everything to the press. My father stood again, looming over my desk like he used to. You think you've won? You're still that same weak little girl who... Security, I called. 2 guards appeared instantly. Please help my father remember his manners. He sat back down, face ashen. 8 minutes, Warren announced. My mother started to cry. Not real tears. I recognized her performance face. Bailey, darling, we can work this out. As a family. We stopped being family when you chose money over morality. I checked my watch. 7 minutes. The board won't allow this, my father tried. The board, Jasmine interjected, just voted to suspend you both, pending criminal investigation. 6 minutes passed in tense silence. My father stared at the papers. My mother's mascara ran perfectly down her cheeks. Time's almost up, I said softly. Choose carefully. Your reputation or your company. My father reached for the pen. Martin, no! My mother grabbed his arm. It's over, Beatrice. He signed with a shaking hand. She won. My mother signed too, each stroke of the pen deliberate and angry. Get out, I said when they finished. Security will escort you out the back. The press is still at the front. They stood. At the door, my mother turned back. Was it worth it? Destroying your own family? I met her gaze steadily. You destroyed our family. I just returned the favour. After they left, Warren touched my shoulder. You okay? No, I admitted, but I will be. Jasmine was already on her phone leaking the ownership transfer to the press. Outside, I could hear the protesters cheering as the news spread. I looked at my parents' signatures, still wet on the paper. It felt like the end of something, and the beginning of everything else. They want to negotiate, Jasmine announced, bursting into my office 3 days after the confrontation. Their lawyers just called. I looked up from the stack of whistleblower statements on my desk. No. Hear me out. They're offering to double the restitution fund if we keep their involvement quiet. Paint it as a corporate culture problem, not a family one. Still no. Warren appeared in the doorway. Bailey, maybe we should consider... Consider what? I stood up. Helping them hide again? That's exactly what they want. To buy silence, just like they always have. My phone buzzed. A text from Audrey. Turn on CNBC now. I grabbed the remote. My father was on screen, standing outside his lawyer's office. He looked smaller somehow, his usual commanding presence deflated. These allegations are being blown out of proportion, he was saying. My daughter is... She's always been troubled, emotional. This is a personal vendetta. I switched it off. See? Still trying to control the narrative. Bailey, Warren said gently, think about the money. What we could do with it. It's not about money. I pulled up my email, showing them the dozens of new messages from women coming forward. It's about truth. Every time someone speaks up, 10 more find their courage. Jasmine's phone rang. Her eyes widened as she listened. Oh God, Bailey, your mother's at reception. She's alone. My heart stuttered. What does she want? To talk. No lawyers, no press. I thought about it. Send her up, but get security ready. 5 minutes later, my mother walked in. She'd lost weight, her designer suit hanging loose. The pearls were gone. Bailey, she said softly, you look well. What do you want? She sat without being invited. Your father is being impossible. He wants to fight this, take it to court, but She paused. I'm tired. Tired of what? Lying? Hurting people? Tired of pretending? She pulled out her phone, hands shaking. There's something you need to see. She played a video. It showed her office at Sims Industries years ago. A young woman sat crying while my mother pushed papers at her. Sign, my mother's voice commanded, or we'll make sure you never work in this industry again. I recognized the woman, Sarah, one of our first whistleblowers. I kept everything, my mother said, stopping the video. Every meeting, every threat. I told myself it was protection for the company. But, really? She met my eyes. I think I was waiting for someone to stop me. Why, show me this now. Because your father's planning something. He's been making calls, shredding documents. I heard him talking about offshore accounts. Warren stepped forward. Mrs. Sims, are you saying he's hiding assets? I'm saying he's desperate. And desperate men do terrible things. She reached into her bag, pulled out a USB drive. Everything's here. Account numbers, meeting recordings, emails going back 15 years. I stared at the drive. Why? Because you were right, her voice cracked. About everything. And because I don't want to be remembered as the woman who destroyed lives to protect her husband's empire. Jasmine took the drive, already heading to her computer to check it. This doesn't fix anything, I said, between us. I know. She stood up, but maybe it helps fix what we broke in others. As she reached the door, I called out, Mum. She turned. Was it worth it? All those years of silence? She touched her neck where her pearls used to be. No, but this might be. After she left, Warren examined the drive's contents. Holy shit! This is everything. Account numbers, offshore holdings, proof of document destruction. He's going to prison for this. Bailey, Jasmine said urgently, your father's lawyer just tweeted. They're calling a press conference for tomorrow morning. Let them. I picked up my phone. Get me Vicente, now. What are you thinking? Warren asked. I'm thinking it's time to end this. All of it. I started typing on my laptop. Draft a statement. We're releasing everything. The videos, the accounts, all of it. No more negotiations, no more hiding. Your father will fight back, Jasmine warned. Let him try. I thought of my mother's tired face. of Sarah's tears in that video, of every woman who'd been silenced. Truth isn't negotiable. Warren touched my arm. You sure about this? I looked at him, then at Jasmine, then at the growing stack of whistleblower statements on my desk, each one a woman finding her voice breaking free. Yes, I said, because some things are worth more than family loyalty. Some things are worth burning everything for. I pressed send on the email to Vicente. Tomorrow, the world would see exactly what happened when wealth and power met truth and justice. And this time, there would be nowhere left to hide. The morning my father was arrested, I watched it live from my office. FBI agents led him out of his penthouse in handcuffs, his face twisted with rage. The charges: obstruction of justice, witness tampering, and destruction of evidence. They found the shredded documents, Jasmine reported, reading from her tablet, in a dumpster behind the building. Their tech team is reconstructing them now. My phone rang. It was my mother. Did you know? She asked without preamble. About the arrest? No, but I'm not surprised. I watched the news footage replay. He made his choices. They're searching the house. Everything. She sounded scared. Bailey, You did the right thing, I said firmly. Those documents you gave us probably saved dozens of women from having to testify. A knock at my door. Vicente entered, looking grim. Turn on CNN, he said. I did. A reporter stood outside Sims Industries, microphone in hand. Breaking news. Following this morning's arrest of CEO Martin Sims, the board has announced a complete leadership overhaul. Among the changes, 3 former whistleblowers have been appointed to executive positions. Holy shit, Jasmine whispered. My mother was still on the phone. I have to go. The FBI wants to talk to me again. Mum, I hesitated. Be careful. She hung up. Vicente handed me a newspaper, tomorrow's edition, advance copy. My face was on the front page alongside the headline, The Whistleblower's Daughter, How One Woman Brought Down an Empire. They want you on 60 Minutes, he said. Exclusive interview. No, I put the paper down. This isn't about me. Bailey, Jasmine called from her desk. Audrey's here. Audrey walked in, looking different than when I'd first met her. Stronger. She carried a stack of papers. The new board approved everything, she said, laying them out. Full restitution for every woman who signed an NDA, public apology, and... She smiled. They want me as the new head of human resources. You're taking it? Someone has to make sure this never happens again. She straightened her shoulders. The other women asked me to give you this. She handed me a card. Inside were dozens of signatures and messages. Thank you for giving us our voice back. You showed us we weren't crazy. You gave us courage. My phone buzzed with a text from Warren. Turn on Fox News. Now. I switched channels. My father's lawyer stood at a podium, sweating. My client maintains his innocence, he was saying. These charges are politically motivated, driven by a daughter's revenge fantasy. Jasmine turned it off. Enough of that bullshit. Bailey, Vicente said quietly, there's something else. Your father, he tried to transfer millions to offshore accounts last night, right before the arrest. Did he succeed? No. The FBI froze everything in time, but... He paused. The attempt alone adds money laundering to the charges. He's looking at serious time. I should have felt triumph. Instead, I felt hollow. Audrey touched my arm. You okay? Yeah. I stood up, walking to the window. Below, protesters still held signs, but now they read Justice Served and Women's Voices Matter. My phone rang again. Unknown number. Is this Bailey? A young voice asked, and yes? This is Sophie. From the shelter 6 years ago? My heart stopped. The runaway girl, the one who disappeared. I saw you on the news, she continued. I wanted you to know you were right. About everything. I got out eventually. I'm in college now. Tears pricked my eyes. Sophie. Thank you, she said softly, for showing me it's possible to stand up, to fight back. After she hung up, I turned to my team. Get me a writer. For what? Jasmine asked. An op-ed. Final statement. Then we're done talking about my family. Vicente nodded. What's the angle? Truth, I said. About power, about silence, about the cost of speaking up, and about how sometimes... I looked at the card from the whistleblowers, at Sophie's number on my phone, at the news footage still playing silently. Sometimes, breaking a family is the only way to fix a broken system. Audrey smiled. Want help? Always. We worked through the night, crafting the words that would end this chapter. Not just my story, but the story of every woman who'd ever been told to stay quiet, to take the money, to protect powerful men. By morning, it was done. I sent it to every major newspaper with a simple title, Why I Chose Truth Over Family. Let them call it revenge. Let them call it betrayal. I called it justice. And justice, unlike family loyalty, doesn't come with conditions. The letter arrived on crisp legal paper, delivered by courier to my office. My father's handwriting, still sharp and authoritative even from his prison cell. I expected better from my daughter, it began. I dropped it in the shredder without reading further. That's the third one this week, Jasmine noted, bringing me coffee. He's persistent. He's desperate. I checked my calendar. The sentencing is tomorrow. Are you going? Before I could answer, Warren appeared in the doorway. You need to see this. He led us to the conference room where Audrey was giving her first press conference as head of HR. On screen, she stood confident at the podium, the Sims Industries logo behind her completely redesigned. Today marks a new chapter, she was saying. Our board now has a majority of female directors. Our new harassment policies are being cited as industry standard. And, most importantly, she smiled. We've created a foundation to help women break free from workplace abuse, funded entirely by the former executive's seized assets. My phone buzzed, a text from my mother. I'm checking into rehab, the anxiety medication. I can't do it alone anymore. You don't have to, I typed back. Bailey, Jasmine called. The shelter's on line 1. I picked up. Maria's voice was excited. We got the funding. 3 new locations approved. Construction starts next month. Use the old Sims Industries buildings, I suggested. They're empty now, anyway. After hanging up, I found Warren watching me. What? Your father's lawyer called. He wants to make a deal before sentencing. If you speak on his behalf? No. Bailey. I said no. I stood up. Actually, I need to go somewhere. An hour later, I walked through the shelter's front door. The same flickering fluorescent lights, the same wobbly desk. But now, the walls held success stories, photos of women who'd rebuilt their lives. A teenage girl sat in the waiting room, clutching a backpack. She looked up as I entered. Are you Bailey? She asked. The one from the news? Just Bailey, I said, sitting beside her. What's your name? Rachel, my dad. He says I'm destroying the family by reporting him. Let me guess. He says you're confused, emotional. That family loyalty matters more than anything. She nodded, tears forming. Want to know a secret? I leaned closer. Family isn't about loyalty to power, it's about protecting each other from abuse. But what if I'm not strong enough? I pulled out my phone, showed her the news alert. Former Sims Industries CEO faces 20 years. Then the photo of Audrey at her press conference, the foundation announcement, the shelter expansion plans. See all this? I said. It didn't happen because one person was strong. It happened because many women chose truth over fear. Rachel wiped her eyes. Will you help me? That's why I'm here. My phone buzzed again. Another text from my mother. The doctors say I enabled him. They're right. I'm sorry. I know, I replied, then added, get better. Rachel was reading the shelter's intake forms, her hand steadier now. Outside, I heard construction beginning on the new wing. Jasmine appeared in the doorway. Sentencing in an hour. Sure you don't want to go? I looked at Rachel, at the intake forms, at the success stories on the walls. No, I'm exactly where I need to be. The press will ask why you weren't there. Tell them the truth. I sat at the wobbly desk just like I had 6 years ago. Tell them I'm busy helping another woman find her voice. Rachel looked up. Did it hurt, standing up to your family? Yes, I said honestly, but staying silent hurts more. My phone lit up with the sentencing news. 20 years, no parole, full asset forfeiture. Bailey? Rachel's voice was stronger now. I'm ready to tell my story. I pulled out a fresh intake form. Behind me, the construction crews worked on expanding the shelter. Above me, the fluorescent lights flickered, but now they felt less like poverty and more like persistence. Then, let's begin, I said, because that's how change happens. Not in courtrooms or headlines, but in quiet moments when one woman tells another, your voice matters, your truth matters, you matter. My father's empire had fallen, my mother was facing her demons. And me? I was right where I started, at a wobbly desk with a flickering light, helping one woman at a time find the strength to speak. Some would call it karma. Some would call it justice. I called it purpose. And purpose, unlike revenge, never runs dry.